Hello. It is Friday, February 16th. And what's the temperature? Because I can't even really see it from where I'm at here. Earlier today, it was like early in the morning, it was about like 40-ish degrees. I actually got the windows cracked open because the heat works exceptionally well in this apartment building, sometimes too well. Sometimes it's like, it works great when it's 20 degrees, but when it gets above freezing, it's like, damn, it's hot in here. But better to have heat that works a little too good than to not have heat at all. What's going on, brother Stoned Assassin? How you doing? We got distracted gardener in the building. How y'all doing? I'm not sick. I just took a fat hit from the bong. You know what I mean? But we got a couple of things to go over today. I'm going to be on the power panel, hour two, so 7 o'clock Eastern time, and I'll be on there with Ravana and Shank. That's what I'm gonna be on there with tonight. So it's always a good time when we're on there with Ray. Now, let's see. Look, I think this would be a good one. On your way to Jersey. That's where I'm at right now. You know what I mean? I'm up here chilling up here in Hackensack, New Jersey. Now, let's check this out. Let's see what's up from my good old home state of Missouri, let's see what they got going on here. Because if there's one thing we know about the GOP, if there's one thing that we know about the Republican Party, it's that they're focused on the issues that matter. They're the no, actually, they're not. They're focused on BS. But unfortunately, their BS causes damage to people's lives. So here we're checking this out, right? Missouri GOP Secretary of State candidate Valentina Gomez posts video of herself burning LGBTQ books with a flamethrower. And it's like obviously we get the symbolism, we get the message, we get it, with the agenda. They don't want, the gay agenda. They don't want their kids to be gay and all that stuff. But it's like at the end of the day, this is just silly. Like you're an adult and you put up some books. I mean, you whatever books you just bought. Okay, there's a book on here that this book says queer, and then I don't know what this book says. You gave them money to do this. We got Jenny in the building. We got Jeremy, Jesse, Libby. Hello. But yeah, so it's like you line these people's pockets just so you can do this. However much this book costs, this I don't know what 17.99, 25.99, who knows? But you gave them money just to set it on fire. It's just corny, you know, like it really is. The Missouri GOP Secretary of State candidate Valentina Gomez posted a video of herself burning two books about the LGBTQ community with a flamethrower. Because that's what's important. That's what matters. Getting things done. Gomez posted this video on many social media platforms, including Twitter. When I'm Secretary of State, I will burn all books that are grooming, indoctrinating, and sexualizing our children. But people can still like get on Google and the internet. So that's not really a two birds with one stone type of situation. You're throwing one stone at one bird, and the other bird, the gay bird, is still flying away. The gayness is still spreading. There's nothing you can there's nothing you can do about it. You can't put that toothpaste back in the bottle. You can't get that cat back into the bag. It's out. It's too late. It's over for that. I mean, it's just so silly. Okay, America first, MAGA. Yeah, okay. This is what I will do to the grooming books when I become Secretary of State. GOP candidate. Okay, I think let's see the video.
This is what I will do to the grooming books when I become Secretary of State.
Let's go.
Okay, she sounds like she didn't grow up here. Okay, I don't, and the only reason it's because she's a Republican. So it's like I could be tripping, but she sounds like she grew up in another country. So the irony. Your last name is Gomez, and you sound like you came over here when you were like and I don't know. You listen to this.
This is what I will do to the grooming books when I become Secretary of State.
Let's go.
Like she didn't grow up. She sounds like she didn't grow up speaking English. It's just funny, like when and then you join the Republican Party.
Welcome to the main event. Applying pressure
These books come from a Missouri Public Library. When I'm in office, they will burn.
And that's all she said. Nothing else. And just that. Just that. I'll burn the gay books. That was the whole ad. That was the entire advertisement. It's too late though, It's too late. Okay, one of the authors was less than pleased with the stunt. She is burning my book in public to get votes. Not fascist or scary at all. Bishk, I don't know how to say that. Bishk, I think, stated on X in response to this video. Book banning is dangerous and book burning takes it to a whole new scary level. All Americans should be concerned that a candidate for public office not only thinks book burning is acceptable, but that it is something that will help her get elected. Very true statements. Me personally, I would have publicly laughed at this person, but that's me. I'm speaking for myself. I would have been like, "Ha, you're a loser and you gave me money just to do this." And I would make fun of them, but that's how I would handle it. But what this author said is true. True nonetheless. True nonetheless. We got Bad Lefty in the building. We got David Daniels. We got BKK. Soul Life in the building. Aaron, what's going on? But yeah, no, that was just incredibly corny. And again, I don't know, but she sounded like she didn't grow up here. So, no. Welcome to the Republican Party, I guess. Gomez's campaign website shows her ambitions for office. Valentina will drive economic growth by incentivizing local production of goods and services, nurturing businesses, and expanding opportunities within our state. You see, like she could have just done that, but she's a Republican, so she got to be on that MAGA shit. So she could just be posing like, I mean, which doesn't make it any better, but that could just be like, okay, this is what I got to do to get the votes. She is in Missouri, but this is much better because this is actually substantive. I mean, it doesn't really go into detail. It's just a sentence, but this is substantive. It's, when I'm in office, I'm gonna buy all the books every single time they come out. I'm gonna ban shipments. Like, what you gonna do about the gay books that's getting shipped through Amazon and shit like that? What you gonna ban? You gonna ban Amazon, UPS, USPS, FedEx. Nobody gonna send no gay books to y'all kids in Missouri. That's the type of mission she on. Airplanes can't come in here with these motherfuckers. No helicopters, nor by submarine, nor by tugboat. I mean, like, it's just like, what are you really gonna do? Oh, and don't forget the internet. Don't forget about that. Don't forget the internet. This is just stupid. This is ridiculous. Okay, so we got Valentina vehemently opposes subjugating children under 18 to transgender related medical procedures, therapies, treatments, and prescriptions and exposure. Because again, it's like they talk about it like there's this sinister plan, like we're gonna round up we gonna round up everybody kids like we the Jedi Order. That you know what that's basically what it is. That's how Republicans see it. Let me break it down for y'all right quick. I just figured it out. Okay, we just stumbled upon some shit. So in the Republican world, right? The gays and the transgender people, it's like they're the Jedi Council and they span the galaxy and they take everybody's babies. And you got to get them young because if they too old, they already got attachments and they already basically kind of have their own train of thoughts going. And that can shift them off to the dark side. So you got to get them when they're really young and just fresh so you can totally shape their minds into this this dogmatic way of thinking and way of being. That's how they see the gays and the trans folks. It's like, it's just this council, and they just go around, and it's like, what are you really gonna do about it? And if you look at the statistics, I believe like 1% of the entire adult population, or less than 1% or something like that, even identifies as transgender. So it's just silly, like. I mean, do you that conspiracy? It's just so damn stupid. Okay, where are we? So then she goes on to say, the physical and emotional scars endured by our young ones in the name of the transgender industry are unacceptable and must be halted. The physical and emotional scars. Like, what do you like? What like you have to what like drag shows, for instance. Like, listen, I live 15 minutes away from New York City. I live in New Jersey, right? This is like one of the places in the country where there would be the most drag shows. Like, but I say that to say I've never been to one and I've never seen one because they're not just everywhere. Like, they talk about them like, "Oh, you just see them all over the place." Like, no, you don't. Like, you can find them, but you have to seek them out just like anything else. It's no different than anything else. Like, if you want Mexican food, you look up what Mexican spots are in the area. If you want to go to a certain type of a lounge, it's no different than anything else. If you wanna go to a drag show, then you look the shit up, you know what I'm saying? Like, you look it up online and you find out where it is and you go if you like. And, like, it's so ridiculous. And then and then how would kids even get there if their parents aren't taking them? It's just it's not even a real thing. It's totally imaginary. I'm gonna burn all the books. And she wouldn't even try because she knows she can't do it, but it's just branding to get elected. But yeah, no. Oh, we got Looney Tunes in the building. But yeah, no, man, that's all that's all it is. Like, if you want to go to a drag show, you got to look one up and go find one, just like anything else. You want to have some beers, some local breweries or some shit like that, you look up where the local breweries are. Like, everywhere you look. Like, no, it's not everywhere you look, it's everywhere you think. Everywhere I think and everywhere I look, I can't stop thinking about it. It's just ridiculous. Let's see. Where are we now? Let's see. Um, Okay, we got Matt Gates because y'all know that what's the name? I think Susie, his name is, won George Santos's seat. And Susie was already in office before, but he won. He won in the special election. And so I believe this is Matt Gates like, see, man, you can't be talking about diversity, equity, and inclusion. Well, let's see. I didn't listen to this yet, so let's see what he's talking about.
By the day. But for Kevin McCarthy to suggest that President Trump and I aren't aligned certainly doesn't help President Trump. It certainly doesn't help our campaign. And it just kind of makes Kevin McCarthy look small and sad and lying.
And so also leaving prior to the end
Nah, I haven't seen the Acorn Cop. I'm gonna look that up.
of the term also made him look like it was about Kevin McCarthy. It was never about the Republican Party or America for that matter. George Santos lost that seat last night. I mean, George Santos expelled. Mazi Pilip lost the seat to Tom Suozzi, an important seat. You called it. You said this is going to be a problem if we get rid of Santos.
Swazi. I said Susie. Swazi.
So you want to weigh in on what happened last night and what happens in November, because that seat will be up again in November.
It turns out DEI isn't a real good strategy for Republican candidate recruitment. George Santos was no walk in the park, but he was at least a registered Republican. I think we were running this lady who was like a registered Democrat. She would not endorse President Trump. She lost by a substantial margin. George Santos stood with President Trump, backed the America First agenda, and he ultimately prevailed. So now the very New Yorkers who threw George Santos out see their own ranks diminished, and they welcome back Democrat Tom Suozzi, because look, there's only 3 categories of people who've ever been expelled in the United States Congress.
That's
people
funny.
who participated in the Civil War, people who have been found guilty of a crime, and George Santos. And I don't know that we've done ourselves any favor in that regard.
Yeah, and there's a model coming up right after this in the next block talking about how Republicans threw George Santos under the bus to win some moral victory. Meanwhile, Democrats, look, they circle the wagons around Menendez, the senator, they circle wagons around Biden. They circle wagons around Ilhan Omar, saying some things that may indicate she may be more about Somalia than she is America. And they circle the wagons around Cori Bush after they find out she's misusing some campaign funds, allegedly.
Wait, you mean you can't hire your spouse to be your security detail, Bowling?
Yeah.
That's frowned upon.
Future spouse.
I'm old-fashioned. I just thought husbands were supposed to protect their wives for free,
yeah, well,
like without getting paid out of the campaign.
I think she was paying him off before they were actually married. I could be wrong about that fact. The timing irrelevant, however. But
she admitted it was both.
They do dig in and defend their people because they don't want to lose the seat. They don't want to lose the political. They won't take the political loss for the moral victory. Whereas
I've seen a bunch. I've seen Davina. I've seen on Instagram. I've seen clips of that. I'm pretty sure we'll be talking about that this evening because I'm gonna be on the power panel on the second hour. I don't know if it'll be first or second hour, but I'm sure we'll probably be talking about that. But I have seen clips from that. I did.
Republicans your guys seem to take lose the seat for the moral victory that no one gives a damn about.
Yeah, Bob Menendez is still dragging his Egyptian gold bars into his classified briefings on the national security threat. But because George Santos was naughty on OnlyFans, we had to reduce our majority by 25%. It is a study in how the different parties react to their membership and how really they prepare for the.
No, it's really not a study. It's just that George Santos was so outrageous that he was so embarrassing he had to go. I mean, that's really the bottom line. So this really is not a study because typically the Republican Party is very in line with itself.
Fight, and not everybody has the same role in the fight. But one thing about George Santos, he would have voted to impeach Mayorkas, he would have voted with us on FISA, and whatever else he has going on. He was not convicted of a crime, and when we abridged due process, we were not rewarded politically for it. We lost. And I think that candidate in New York had a lot of problems, notably her unwillingness to embrace the fact that Donald Trump is the head of the party. Look, if you don't want to run as a Donald Trump Republican, what are you even doing running in 2024 on our side? Get on board. This is the agenda we're going to pursue.
If you're not ready to kiss Trump's ass, then what you even doing here, man? Go home. What's the point of even being here? All right. Now what we got here? Oh, we got Eric Bolin. We got the same dude we just looked at. Now, apparently he said House Republicans cannot govern. But I mean, Republicans ain't been able to govern for my whole life at least. at least.
Republicans lost the seat. And this also might be why GOP voters flipped in last night's election.
I talked to two voters today who voted for Donald Trump in 2016, turned around and voted for the Democrats in this race, voted for Tom Suozzi because they said his message on bipartisanship and the fact that House Republicans have really struggled to pass legislation over the last couple of weeks impacted the way they were looking at this race.
Republicans can't govern. The New York voters claim they have a point. Look at our southern border disaster and foreign aid funding completely off the charts recently. Americans are fed up with Republicans, not for political reasons, but because they cannot govern. Once again, Republicans scored a moral victory, but a political loss. Democrats are better at calculating political outcomes and make their decisions based on those calculations. Democrats never win a moral victory. It's political victory or nothing. While the GOP dumped its ethically challenged.
No, again, that's obviously not an accurate assessment either. I mean, honestly, the some of the bigger reasons why Republicans have been losing for several years now consistently is the reversal of Roe v. Wade. I mean, they crossed too many lines. That seems to be an issue that's going to keep Democrats winning down ballot in terms of majority, because I mean, it's an egregious move that's really hurting people's lives every single day. There's other factors too, obviously, but that really is one of the biggest ones. All right, where we at? Let's see what's good. No, we'll save this. Now, this was just kind of strange to me because correct me if I'm wrong, but if you're not a citizen of the United States, you can't vote, right? Like, I mean, I don't think that there's, as far as I know, you can't vote if you're not a citizen. So it's just like, what? I mean, the poll, like, why even? It's just like so many people on the right really believe that undocumented immigrants vote in elections at some type of high rate. 86% of people believe only US citizens should vote in elections. Again, obviously only US citizens should vote in elections, and that's pretty much primarily what happens. But the only reason I was bringing this up is because, the Tea Party obviously is a far right organization and a far right movement, but it's like Jesus Christ, y'all. And so much of this too is just so clearly, the fear of a browning nation, because this doesn't happen. Oh, we gotta stop these people from coming over here. And obviously, again, you can't have people just coming into the country, but that doesn't happen. Like, people don't just come in here in droves. People get sent home all the time. People get deported all the time from this country. Like, that's not, and it's not new. This is just funny. People have been roasting Tucker Carlson for good reason, man. Like, I mean, Putin complains Tucker Carlson gave him softball questions. I honestly thought he would be aggressive. Putin was making fun of him. Putin was poking jazz and making fun of him the whole interview. The Russian president went on to add, hold on, he said, I honestly thought he would be aggressive and ask so-called sharp questions, and I wasn't just ready for that. I wanted it because it would have given me the opportunity to respond sharply and kind. Right? He was like, "Damn, I was ready for this dude to actually give me a real interview because I would have been able to look good. It just looks stupid." Putin complained he chose a different tactic. The Russian president went on to add, he tried to interrupt me several times, but still, surprisingly for a Western journalist, he turned out to be patient and listened to my lengthy dialogues, especially those related to history, and didn't give me reason to do what I was ready for. So, frankly, I didn't get complete satisfaction from this interview. He said, quite frankly, this man wasted my time. The footage from this interview really doesn't help my cause. It doesn't make me look any better. I so it kind of that is hilarious. That is hilarious because Tucker Carlson doesn't need to work, and that doesn't mean that he shouldn't work, and that doesn't mean that people who are in his position shouldn't work. He can do what he wants, but there's a lot to be said about that. It's like you're interviewing one of the most powerful men on the planet. Vladimir Putin is one of the most powerful individuals alive, and he has been for a while. Um, and you don't give a serious interview. I mean, but at the same time, he may have been afraid to, because Putin will kill your ass. You know what I mean? Putin will kill you. So it's just funny. I mean, there's really nothing more to comment on that. It's just pretty funny. All right, let's see what's up. But yeah, no, he really was sitting there laughing at him. And again, you got to put yourself in his shoes because, like, Vladimir Putin he's not a joke. Like, he and people like him are like, they will kill you. You know what I'm saying? Like, they will. Like, he's one of those motherfuckers. So, like, he's not somebody that you really should deal with at all, unless it's like you're in a political office and it's just governmental shit. Other than that, man, you really don't want to deal with people like him because they'll kill your ass. All right, let's see what's up. What we got now? We have, oh, sad news here. Horribly sad news here, right? You know, Joe Manchin won't enter the 2024 presidential race. When I got there was like a breaking news that came out, and it was like, I'm not surprised that he didn't enter because I mean, let's be serious. I mean, Joe Manchin wouldn't he wouldn't do a goddamn thing in this race. He wouldn't do nothing in this race because he I mean, in terms of him being able to really take votes away from Biden in a significant way, he'd have to be somewhat different than him, whether it be like via personality or policy. But he's not. So it's really a waste of time. But this is just hilarious to see. Like, oh man, that really bums me out. We won another candidate, and I was really hoping it was going to be Joe Manchin. Right, Manchin Santos 2024. That's really what we need, man. Just drop all the charges against George Santos and let's go ahead and get him in the White House. Let him be number two. That's what we need. That's exactly what we need. But that's funny. All right, let's see. Hmm. All right, we got some news up here. Right, right. We go ahead and just let him run so we could just see how many people actually would vote for him. Let's do it. He might get a little more votes than Kanye. Maybe a little bit. All right, let's see. We got some news from Alabama. You said would have to be Santos Mansion, then I'm in. Okay, so you saying put Santos at the lead. That's what you're saying. So you saying have George Santos to be the lead, Mansion to be behind him, which kind of makes more sense. George Santos is more charismatic. He's more capable of taking on that public persona. And Joe Manchin could just be the OG in the background that helps steer him in the right direction. That's good thinking. That's really good thinking. All right, so now we got Alabama House approves amendment that permits sports betting, requires further approvals. Boom, boom, boom. All right, so I don't know if this is something different. No, this is something different. Sports betting legalization. Go ahead and legalize it. Collect the tax dollars because a whole man, people be betting so much money on that shit. Another state got closer to legalizing sports gambling and other forms of gambling this week as the Alabama House of Representatives approved a measure, House Bill 151, that would allow for such activities in the state because the amendment is to the state constitution. It needed a 3/5 vote, which would be 63, from the junior chamber to pass. Ultimately, the measure passed by a 70-32 vote. The state house in Alabama is also now considering a second piece of legislation in the form of a bill, House Bill 152, to spell out the regulation and operation of casinos, lotteries, and sports wagering in the state. To get full approval and become law in the state, the amendment needs to pass through the Senate and then be approved by the voters of Alabama as a ballot initiative. If the measure moves through the Senate quickly, it's expected to be on the ballot for the November general election. Well, I mean, we'll see what happens. I don't know the layout of the state totally, but I would be kind of surprised if that didn't pass on a ballot measure because we'll see what happens. I'm thinking of it like how people may compare, because a lot of the reasons why red states don't want to legalize cannabis is because, they're looking at it from a moral standpoint. Like, this isn't right. This is a gateway and stuff like that. But I don't really know if conservatives would look at gambling the same way, but why wouldn't they? We'll see what happens. But I hope they legalize it because that's just more tax revenue. And I mean, shit, if people want to do it, let them do it legally. Okay, we just got that. The November general election is when this ballot proposal will be up. The citizens to show up for. All right, so let's see. We got previously Alabama voters rejected a lottery that the legislation had approved in 1999. That was back in 1999. I was 7 years old. An analysis by the state's legislative service agency estimated that the proposed trio of gambling activities could generate nearly $1 billion in annual revenue. See, get the money, man. Go ahead and get that money. $492 million via casinos, $379 million from lotteries, and $41 million via sports wagering. Get that money. The second bill, HB 152, outlines the formation of an Alabama Gaming Commission and its powers over licensure and other regulation for operators in the state. It also addresses revenue allocations from gambling, with lottery money funneled to education and money from casinos and sports wagering going elsewhere. All told, the legislation would allow for the licensing of up to 7 casinos in the state, with 6 already having designated locations in the state: Birmingham, Mobile County, Macomb County, Greene County, Lowndes County, and Houston County. A 7th casino will hinge on a potential agreement between the state and a local tribe, the Porch Band of Creek Indians. Previous agreements mean the Porch Creeks operate a trio of casinos already and could add a 4th in the nearest part of the state as part of the new legislation. All right, we're going to keep up with this. We are going to keep up with this. But yeah, so this will be up in the November general election. But yeah, man, let people make that money legally and collect the tax dollars because we need it. There's so many things that we need to pay for. Let us not pretend like we don't have a million things to pay for as a society. All right, so here we got some this is unsurprising news, but it's bad news and it's stuff that you see and it's like, you're just so numb to it. It's just a part of society and it shouldn't be. Almost 5,000 people have died in US gun violence so far in 2024. We're not even 2 months in yet.
Another school campus in America targeted by a mass killer.
We do know from Las Vegas police this is a confirmed active shooter.
An awful scene playing out today in Texas. An active shooter for a time at an elementary school. Multiple.
Okay, it looks like just hold on. February 14th, mass shooting following a parade and rally for the Kansas City Chiefs Super Bowl win has left 1 person dead and at least 21 others injured. Man, just like God, it's crazy. Like the fact that people can do shit like this is just nuts. Like that people are capable of this. The shooting has reignited discussions about the prevalence of gun violence in America. As of February 15th, which was yesterday, at least 4,994 people have died from gun violence in the U.S. this year, according to the Gun Violence Archive, which is an average of about 108 deaths each day. Another 3,351 people have been injured. That's from the parade. Of those who have died from gun violence, 147 were teens and 31 were children. Last year, gun violence deaths and injuries decreased by at least 8% compared to 2022, with some cities seeing decreases of more than 20%, according to the Gun Violence Association. There were 43,065 gun deaths in 2023, with more than 36,000 people injured. Gun deaths, excluding, so not including suicides, in 2023 were the lowest they had been since 2020. Injuries were the lowest they had been since 2019. There have been more than 49 mass shootings in 2024 so far, which is defined by the Gun Violence Archive as an incident in which 4 or more victims are shot or killed. These mass shootings have led to more than 80 deaths and more than 170 injuries. The January 23rd string of shootings in Joliet, Illinois, by a single suspect marks the deadliest incident of the year. 8 people were killed and 9 shot in what Joliet, Illinois authorities are referring to as 23-year-old deceased suspect Romeo Nancy's reign of terror. Mass shootings in the US have more than doubled in the last decade. Man, these types of numbers it's just hard to keep reading through. In 2014, there were 272 mass shootings. In 2023, there were 656. Mass shootings peaked at 689 in 2021. All right. But yeah, I mean, like, it's just it you you really become desensitized to it. Again, not that you don't care about the issue, but it's just in a sense of like it's really hard to keep up with, you know? Um there's there's always other issues going on. There's always other areas of focus. Um and it just gets hard to keep up with. And nothing happens. Nothing significant happens in Congress whatsoever because of corruption. Oh, we got man. Okay, so look, listen, we got Chris Christie. He's stepping up to be to on some brave and some bold shit. You know, okay, so Trump nemesis Chris Christie says he would vote for Biden in 2024 if necessary to save the country. Like, oh boy, like that's such a, you know, such a high bar. My man's Chris Christie is willing to be dragged through the mud to save this country. No, I don't have any real comment on it. It's just funny because it's like the Republican Party is that dominated by Donald Trump that it's a story when people say, "No, I'll vote for Biden because I think that makes sense if they're on the right." Like his reign over the party is just that assured and that real. I would say that real is a better word to use. Um, but yeah, no, man. How brave of Chris Christie. All right, let's see. Oh my, yeah. See, look, man, Taylor Swift is everything she does. Look, she is now. I mean, she's one of the most famous people on earth. But you know, like, look at how much she's been elevated politically. Now, anytime she does anything remotely similar to this, everybody gonna be talking about it, and then conservatives gonna be mad about it because they'll be like, she's only doing this because they're trying to boost the Biden administration, the Biden campaign. But yeah, no. We talked about this the other day, though. Republicans have inadvertently made Taylor Swift, she was already one of the most famous people on earth, but they have now made her one of the most important people in the country, at least. It's hilarious. All right. So we got, let's see. We got a couple more, and then I'm gonna relax, and then I will be on the power panel this evening for the second hour with Ravana and Jank. Trump fan at rally stuns Jordan Klepper with Trump-themed item. Unique placement of his mouth area. I haven't seen this. Let's check it out.
I wondered here in Haley's own backyard, what kind of a crowd would Trump muster in? Oh shit, his rally was huge. You could even say bigly.
God, it's going to be loud. It's going to be loud.
Loud
And
inside.
it's going to be crazy.
I mean, it's kind of quiet and business-like outside,
Yeah,
but it's a party in the back.
it's going to be huge.
You would know, my friend. You would know. Tell me about your outfit. What's going on here?
This is kind of just some shorts.
Swim trunks?
Swim trap. I gotta tell you, it's a unique placement of his mouth area.
I've loved everything that he has implemented in the past, so I love if he could put that back into office to keep that going.
Like what stuff?
I like border control.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a big point.
Border control. Man, I mean, it's the Republican Party is I mean, I guess it's I mean, everything is driven by branding and marketing, you know, like if you're an establishment or if you're an organization of any kind at the end of the day, but slogans, that's a better way to say it. Like conservatives think in slogans. Border security, independence, bootstraps, like, you know, like shit. But life doesn't work in slogans. That's really not how things go. That's not how things work, you know. But listen, we had we had a shorter stream today. We had us a shorter stream because it's Friday, and right now we're still getting off the hype from the Super Bowl and everything and what have you, and just all of that. So I will be on hour 2 of the Power Panel this evening with Rayvana and Jake. Check it out from 7 to 8:30. So I'll be on the bonus episode, which is from 8 to 8:30. I'm about to relax for a little bit, and then I'm gonna be on the show. And then after that, I'm gonna be chilling some more. So thank you everybody for everything. Let's keep this thing moving forward. And y'all have a good afternoon, and I will see you later. And I'll probably end up streaming this weekend too. If I do, I'll put up like a timer so that y'all can like see it like hours ahead of time. I'll make sure I do that if I do stream this weekend. But I probably will. So I will catch y'all later, man. Thank you for everything.